thought, right, that campaigning on killing babies would not win Kamala Harris the White House. 75 million Americans, they made their voices heard and said no to open borders, no to an illegal invasion, no to censorship, no to a failing economy, and the Democrats' twisted woke agenda. Absolutely no. The Biden-Harris regime called you all garbage and stupid right to your face, and even worse, behind your back. And now FEMA confirming that one of their supervisors told disaster relief workers in Florida to avoid homes with Trump signs. Absolutely repugnant. That supervisor has since been fired, and now FEMA is under investigation. DeSantis wants to find out what went wrong. We know what went wrong. It only takes a matter of time before conspiracy theory becomes fact. Meanwhile, the left, they continue to gaslight all of you, claiming that it was Trump who put democracy at stake.
It will be up to the American voters to save our democracy in November.
Well, how about saving democracy? How about that? Yeah. How about freedom, so that we can sit here and talk freely?
Democrats are taking back the word freedom.
I make this sacred pledge to you: the defense, protection, and preservation of American democracy will remain as it has been.
You've got 3 weeks to figure out how to make a difference in democracy. And that is what American democracy is about.
Yeah, I mean, we never wanted to end democracy. We wanted to return power back to the people. We have never been who the Democrats and their propaganda puppets, the AKA the fake news, have been saying that we are. The leftist media, they continue to brainwash Americans with their refusal to look at the real reasons why Kamala lost. And instead, the fake news continues to demonize Trump voters, calling them racist and sexist.
It was the fear of a Black and South Asian woman that we have to speak about. And if we're not clear about race, gender, and class, we are ignoring the truth of what's happening in the country right now.
Black voters came through for Kamala Harris. White women voters did not.
Uneducated white women, is my understanding. You have Latino men actually voting more for him.
Latinos in Texas, a district that's 97% Latino, went 75 percentage points for Donald Trump. Why?
Misogyny.
Misogyny from Hispanic men.
Right.
It's misogyny from Black men, things we've all been talking about, who do not want a woman leading them.
Or is it because Kamala refused to differentiate herself from Joe Biden? No one wanted another 4 years of those failed policies. Kamala, she talked about turning the page. She talked about a new path forward. Yet when asked if she'd change anything about Joe Biden's presidency, here's what she said.
Well, if anything, would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
I bet Sunny Hostin regrets asking that question. And then, of course, was Kamala's disastrous VP pick of Tim Walz. So, some think she was afraid to pick Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro because he's Jewish, but I think it's because he's a better public speaker than she is, and she was afraid he'd outshine her. Because, Kamala, she's weak, and weak people like to surround themselves with even weaker people, sycophants. Kamala also lost voters due to her lies about her radical left stances, like taxpayer-funded transgender surgeries and forbidding people from saying Merry Christmas. Remember this?
And when we all sing happy tunes and sing Merry Christmas and wish each other Merry Christmas, these children are not going to have a Merry Christmas. How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
Well, we will be saying Merry Christmas this December, I promise you that, and for the next 4 years. But the final straw that broke the back of 75 million Trump voters was the illegal invasion. We knew Kamala would grant a mass amnesty for the estimated 20 million illegal aliens. I thought long and hard about this. If Kamala had actually won, we may possibly never have had a free, fair election ever again. Can you imagine? She would have made all of those people citizens. There would have been no point in an election. Who do you think they're going to vote for? The person giving them free money and health care and transgender surgeries? I mean, sure, some would say, don't worry, Congress would have stopped Kamala dead in her tracks. Maybe. But already $150.7 billion have been spent on illegals in just 2023 alone. That's a lot of money. Meanwhile, Kamala attempted to distract the American voter by parading out multi-millionaire celebrity after celebrity, from Beyonce to Cardi B. Reports say the millions she spent on these concerts now had left her campaign $20 million in the red. When was the last time, by the way, that Beyonce even bought a gallon of milk or a carton of eggs or even stepped foot into a grocery store? But, at least some Democrats are speaking the truth.
My message to the losers: look in the mirror. No? Well, maybe you should. Sorry. Well, that's my feeling. Losers look in the mirror, okay?
Losers look in the mirror, like Michael Jackson, right? I mean, Kamala's campaign is so tightly choreographed, she refused to go on Joe Rogan, a podcast with 190 million downloads a month. I mean, because he wouldn't abide by her strict rules. Yet her campaign spent an estimated $100,000 on that set right there when she appeared on that raunchy Call Her Daddy podcast. Kamala's loss now prompting video after video on social media, people losing their minds as they claim they've lost their rights overnight. There's even a new change.org petition circulating online demanding a recount. Look at that, 56,000 verified signatures. Give me a break. There was a protest here in New York City as well. The truth is undeniable now. The majority of Americans know that Trump was politically persecuted. The majority of Americans know that the person who funded the alleged rape case against Trump was one of Kamala's biggest campaign donors. And the majority of Americans are no longer buying the lies the legacy media is peddling.
What would a second Donald Trump term look like?
Well, he cannot be the next president.
A lot of people have tried to draw similarities between Mussolini and Hitler.
Leads me to think there is a coming massive crisis that's going to occur on November 5th.
Is promising to be a dictator for a day.
He is going to he runs the risk of really dismantling and greatly incapacitating the Department of Justice and the FBI.
He will tell people to take to the streets with violence.
But it was, I think, this next pivotal moment that I knew Kamala's campaign was kaput. When two rally goers shouted, "Jesus is Lord."
They would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
Big mistake, Kamala. Huge. This nation was built on the back of believers of all faiths. During this election, we saw God's hand at play. We saw him save President Trump's life when he was shot in the head, his head moving ever so slightly, a couple of millimeters. So instead it hit the top of his ear instead of penetrating his brain. And no one knows better the power of God and his hand at play during this entire election than President-elect Trump.